When el comendador solicits Esteban's daughter to fulfill his own pleasure, he complains to Esteban, her father, about Laurencia's continuous rejections by saying that Laurencia ha dado en darme pena. Frondoso has a comparable complaint. ¿Posible es que no te duelas de verme tan cuidadoso y que imaginando en ti ni bebo, duermo ni como? Frondoso accuses Laurencia of being indifferent to his anxiety, his loss of appetite, and his sleeplessness, all signs of love sickness that she allegedly caused him. Language as used in both of these instances constitutes a subtle psychological weapon, an intimidation that aims at obliging the woman to conform to her pursuer's desires. The text occasionally equates the nature of violent desire with the behavior that is supposed to be distinguished from it as noble love, which places man in the service of a lady. Thus the ballad Al Val de Fuenteovejuna, performed at Frondoso's and Laurencia's abruptly interrupted wedding, suggests a similarity among the efforts of a chaste lover, he quien tiene, el que tiene amor, and an unchaste one, he who tiene, quien tiene linces deseos. So the poem says, the ballad says, mas como quien tiene amor, los mares y las montañas atraviesa fácilmente, la dice tales palabras. ¿Para qué te escondes, niña gallarda, que mis linces deseos paredes pasan? The question is the one who tiene amor distinguished in the poem from the one who has linces that deseos, que paredes pasan, in keeping with the structure of the plot of the play? It seems, however, that the verses conflate him who has love and him who has linces deseos into a single subject, and the two kinds of passion into a single kind of affect. Hence, the pursuer who tiene amor and who in one breath promises to cross seas and mountains in his lady's service, in the next breath threatens this lady, niña gallarda, that her attempts to escape his linces deseos are futile. Therefore, on a conscious level, the early modern discourse keeps distinct the idea of refined love that places a man at the lady's service from that of animalistic sexual desire that does not respect a woman's physical or emotional integrity. This distinction is effectively used throughout the play for the sake of characterization of the leading male roles. However, when attention diminishes, as in the ballad Al Val de Fuenteovejuna, slippages occur that conflate violent with courteous amorous behavior, thus belying the contrast between the two, as well as the contrast between comendador's and frondoso's kind of love. In the final ritual of violence, each of the weakest representatives of the community, a woman, a child, and the gracioso, I don't remember whether there was also an old man, they are each tortured to confess who killed el comendador. They all answered unanimously, as everybody knows, Fuenteovejuna lo hizo. But what is then strange is that Frondoso and Laurencia adopt that format of dialogue for their love talk. And I will read this to you, and I was really at a loss as to imagine how the actors would read this dialogue, and I'm looking forward to seeing this the performance that we're going to have here at Stratford. So this is my try as to how Frondoso and Laurencia would read this. He starts, pero decidme, mi amor, ¿quién mató al comendador? Laurencia, Fuenteovejuna, bien. Frondoso, ¿quién le mató? Laurencia, das mi espanto, pues Fuenteovejuna fue. Frondoso, ¿y yo con qué te maté? Laurencia, ¿con qué verte tanto? The expressions such as matarlo a uno con prisa or con amor do not imply violence in everyday Spanish, and I do not intend to challenge that idiom in my search for inconspicuous forms of symbolic violence. However, I do intend to disentangle the way in which some of the multiple elements of the plot are brought together in a significant way in this last and odd dialogue between the two lovers. The sexual disorder of the Comendados' pursuit of Laurencia and of other women, and the socio-political disorder exemplified through the siege of Ciudad Real and abuses of villagers of Fuenteovejuna, is in this dialogue restored into the ultimate sexual and social order. The dialogue rehearses the killing of the Comendador for his violence as analogous to the killing of Laurencia by love that Frondoso has awakened in her. In such a way, Lope brings the parallel plot of the play to a perfect finish. The exemplary couple in the play that, as David Garst argued, acts as an analog to the Catholic kings, turns therefore the story of a collective punishment for Fernand Gomez's abuses into a story of exemplary affective relationship. Frondoso questions Laurencia. Again, yo con que te maté, con quererte tanto, replies she. To uncover the nature of symbolic violence in this idea, me mataste tú a mí, con quererte yo tanto a ti, my love for you kills me, one needs to question, what is the connection between the act of matarme tú a mí and quererte yo a ti? Why the symbolical you kill me is the catachrestic equivalent of I love you? The question of subjectivity lies at hand. Death is the ultimate condition of a loss of subjectivity. Similarly, in loving someone, one also loses one's subjectivity, and such notion has been repeatedly suggested by early modern theories on love. One loses one's head over the beloved, one's will, ability to reason, will and reason being, of course, the most important elements taken in the early modern period as constitutive of personhood. However, this usually applies to men. In this case, it is by virtue of her love for Frondoso, but even more so by virtue of entering the patriarchal institution of marriage, that Laurencia undergoes the final depletion of subjectivity. As if she were killed, erased, she becomes para en uno with Frondoso. And that, of course, ironically, because he has been dying of love for her during the entire play.